Okay, wait, is this thing on? Alright, so yeah, this is basically a live stream, but it's not really a live stream. It's more like a podcast format. I tried to make a video on this subject. It's just, there's so many interesting things I want to talk about. It's impossible to narrow it down to 3 or 4 to discuss in, a 10 to 12 minute video. It's just impossible. I think it'll be a lot of fun, and I hope you guys enjoy this. So if you do, remember to slap a like on it, leave a comment down below. But before we get started, I do want to announce that I'm having a massive holiday giveaway here on this channel where there will be 5 separate winners. A few of those top prizes from that include a Game of Thrones Monopoly set, a sigil, like a banner from House Stark and House Targaryen, a Dany Funko Pop figure, a Ghost Funko Pop figure, and a Game of Thrones shot glass set with like sigils from different houses in Westeros. So if you want to be entered into that contest, make sure you go down below and check out that gleam.io link and follow all those instructions. A few different ways to enter equal different points. So make sure you try to enter as many times as possible and do it every day. Okay, so let's discuss the Wildlings for a bit. Now this is actually taken directly from A World of Ice and Fire on page 147, and if you have the World of Ice and Fire, feel free to read along. But basically, in the lands beyond the wall live the diverse people, all descended from the first men, that we of the more civilized south, we name them Wildlings. This is not a term they use themselves. The largest and most numerous of the various people beyond the wall name themselves the Freefolk, in their belief that their savage customs allow them lives of greater freedom than the Kneelers in the south. And it is true that they live with neither lords nor kings and need to bow to neither man nor priest regardless of their birth or blood or station. But they also live meanly and are not free from starvation, from the extremities of cold, from barbaric warfare, or from the depredations of their own kind. The lawlessness beyond the wall is nothing to envy, as any man who has seen the Wildling can attest. Their pride in their poverty, in their stone axes and wicker wood shields, and in their flea-infested pelts is part of the reason that they are set apart from the people of the Seven Kingdoms. So it sounds like these Wildlings beyond the wall, or these savages, are, for the most part, just like Westerosi citizens. Now, I know that the way that it's described in the World of Ice and Fire sounds like they are completely, almost third world, but that's not the case. We do know that the World of Ice and Fire in a Game of Thrones context was written by maesters. Maesters are older guys who tend to think they're better than everyone else because they contain the world's knowledge, or they have the world's knowledge. So you have to kind of step back from that and be like, okay, the Wildlings might be savages, but it sounds like they are really close to being just like normal citizens of Westeros. There's a place in King's Landing, the capital city of Westeros. There's a place there called Flea Bottom. So it's almost like it depends on which side of the Union you're on. Are you north of the wall? Then you probably look at everyone south and saying like, God, those people have so many rules. They can't even go outside and take a pee without someone coming and telling them, hey, they're not allowed to pee there because they're not of the right blood. You know what I mean? And then if you're south of the wall looking north, you're like, wow, those people are starving. They are living in North Korea-like conditions. I'm not envious of them. They have to freeze to death every night and wonder where their next meal coming from. You know what I mean? So it's interesting, the parallels that George creates, the parallels and the contrast that he creates in this world. But continuing on, the countless tribes and clans of the free folk remain worshippers of the old gods of the first men and children of the forest, the gods of the weirwood trees. Rangers of the Night's Watch speak of still stranger peoples who dwell in the more distant corners of the lands beyond the wall, of bronze-clad warriors from a hidden vale far to the north, and hornfoots who go barefoot over ice and snow. We know of the wild people of the frozen shore who live in huts of ice and ride sleds pulled by hounds. There are half a dozen tribes who make up their homes in caverns, and rumors tell of cannibals in the upper reaches of the icy rivers beyond the wall. But few rangers have penetrated more than 100 leagues into the haunted forest, and doubtless there are more kinds of wildlings than even they can imagine. The threat posed to the realm by these savage peoples can safely be discounted, save for the times, once in a great while, when they're united beneath the leadership of a king beyond the wall. Though many wildling raiders and war chiefs have aspired to this title, few have ever achieved it. None of the wildlings who have risen up to become king beyond the wall have done aught to build a true kingdom or care for their people in truth. Such men are warlords, not monarchs, and though elsewise much different from one the other, Each has led his peoples against the wall in hopes of breaching it and conquering the 7 kingdoms to the south. The first king beyond the wall, according to legend anyway, was Dormon, and claimed to have a horn that could bring the wall down, and when it woke, the giants from the earth. I look at that as, you know, these maesters that are writing and telling us the story about the king beyond the wall and, you know, like the Wildling people themselves, is going to be biased. So when you hear stuff like every king beyond the wall basically was not a monarch, was, you know, almost like a warlord, that can be debated for, you know, like 60% of the kings / queens that have ruled Westeros. Not just in the times, you know, existing after Aegon's conquest, but even before that. They were all savages. There were hundreds of petty kings and petty warlords and all that crap. So it's hilarious that just because some sort of civilization has been rushed into Westeros, they think they're better than the first men beyond the wall. Like, I'm going to go ahead and say that those wildlings up there are just first men who migrated further north than the rest of the first men in Westeros. You know, it's insane the type of crap that you have talked about them. It's almost like in modern day politics, when America doesn't like a certain country, a lot of our news reporters will talk crap, whether it's intentionally or, you know, like a sort of indirect way of doing so. It's like you're always going to hear bad stuff about the other side when you're on the other side. So I think the first men, you know, they could have been south of the wall or just hadn't ventured that far north yet for, you know, hundreds, maybe a few thousand years. And then once they did, it was mainly not out of necessity to find more food or more land because it was too crowded. Maybe it was just out of the fact that they didn't want to live under society's rules and structures. Now, I myself can personally kind of relate to that. Some of the rules and regulations and stuff that we have here in America, in my opinion, shouldn't really, you know, you shouldn't really be able to dictate that much of a citizen's life. So I can totally relate to the fact that if you were given the opportunity to move to a land where there is no laws and it's basically virgin country, I would jump upon that too. Now, if you guys enjoyed me doing this, like, way less structuralized video, where I'm just basically talking out my thoughts to you guys, if you guys enjoyed this, make sure you slap a like on it. If you want to enter that contest, go ahead and check out the Gleam.io link down below in the description. I want to give a super special thank you to everyone over at my Patreon.com, especially to Terry and Mario. They are the executive producers of this, and without them, these videos or these podcast format type videos would not be possible. Please slap a like on this video. The like goal will be 150. This video is actually dedicated to Lynn. You know who you are, Lynn. I want to thank you so much for doing everything you've done for me personally and for this channel. I know you're not feeling too well right now, so I want to take the time to have everyone down in the comment section wish Lynn a get well soon. My name's Mark, and I want to thank you all so much for watching. This has been Sir Hunt's Reviews.